This little building and we have beef, and we're gonna be talking about it this week. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Garmin. This is the Storycraft Society, and this week we're gonna be talking about beef with buildings. And I just want to be very clear about this. This is not the first time that I have had beef with a building. Oh. This nonsense has been sitting, look at the desk. This has been sitting up on top of my thing for a really long time, and it was sitting up on top of the old set, if you remember what that looked like, before that. This thing has been beefing with me for so long, and at this point, I don't know if I'll ever get this done. And now this one is starting to feel similar. I'm putting this away because it's dust. I don't know if this is a familiar situation for a lot of you out there, but it's like some buildings and some projects that I work on when I'm crafting. I just am able to put them together really fast and start working on something and then get them done. And some, like this house and that house, end up just sitting around for so long. And I mean, I have a fairly lengthy list of excuses as to why I haven't gotten this done. Exhibit A, I made the world's largest city map for my Dungeons and Dragons game. That took a crazy amount of my time. If you want to see how I did this, leave it in the comments below. My players finished up their level 5 adventure in my D&D game, so I ended up writing out what ended up being a whole big massive bunch of short stories to give them for like the behind the scenes stuff. If you didn't watch that video, I'll throw the thumbnail up so that you can see it. And then here are the screenshots of the short stories that I wrote for the behind the scenes stuff there if you are interested in that. But I've had my hands full with doing stuff, and life certainly gets in the way of crafting. But it's hard for me to accept in the current moment that life is the only reason that I'm not getting this one done, where I feel like life's been crazy before, but I've blasted through stuff and got it done even when life is crazy. I don't know. I cannot promise you that you won't find unnecessary complication when you're doing your builds, but the thing that I can say is that this week's video sponsor takes all of the complication out of 5e. Nimble is a light 5e rule set that aims to fix all of the common issues that DMs and players have with 5e. So let me give you some examples of things that Nimble will not do. Have you ever waited 20 minutes for your turn just to roll your attack? Whoops, you miss, and now your turn is over. Maybe you saved your juicy 5th level spell slot for that perfect moment, and then whoops, you miss. DMs, maybe you've had all of your players clump up in the middle of the battlefield and it's just like move, hit, hit, hit. That's a boring battle. Maybe you've tried to move your monster and then all of your players just hit it with 15 opportunity attacks and kill it, or worse, your players rest after every single battle, so then they don't have any tension when it comes to the next fight because they're fully rested up and have all of their resources. If any of that stuff sounds like that is a common problem that you have, you need to check out the Kickstarter for Nimble, because it will add faster, more tactical combat with changes to things like initiative, spellcasting, armor class, attacks and critical hits, and reactions. The goal of the Nimble rule set is to minimize tedious waiting, unnecessary bookkeeping, and wasted turns. All that while maximizing DM agency, player agency, and making impactful, interesting choices more common in your 5e game. Best part about the whole thing, and my favorite part without a doubt, is that all of these rule sets are modular. They come in a 20-page booklet that you're going to be able to just very quickly see a rule you like. You can drop it into your session this week, see what your table thinks. If they love it, keep it. If they don't, throw it away and try a new one. I just think that this whole system is very cool. Oh, let's throw on top of it that it is going to be super cheap. The booklet will only cost $5 for the PDF version and $10 for the printed version. Not only that, but if you go for the Kickstarter, there's actually going to be a huge discount where it will only be $4 for the PDF and $7 for the printed version. $7. And you should check it out if any of that sounds even remotely interesting to you. Thank you so much to Nimble for sponsoring this week's video. I seriously can't say thank you enough. And with that said, let's get back to it. So let's talk about what I have managed to get done on this thing. Let me throw up a video of what it looked like before. That way you can get an idea of where we started. And then if you haven't checked out this video, again, I'll throw the thumbnail up. I realized that planning in the early stages of a build really didn't do me any good. I thought that it did, but it ended up bogging me down. And I don't know if that ended up making it all worse. So then it sat basically in that stage for a really, really long time, longer than I wanted it to. And then I started to slowly chip away at it. Like I put these cornerstones on, I put in my timbers with my beams that are sticking out here. I got the front of this done. I built the little fantasy curve on this guy. I did choose not to make it swoop out this direction, not for any particular reason, but just to give it a little bit of visual diversity from the other houses that I have. And then I continued that trend up and then on the upper part of the building. I mean, so far, I think it looks good. It's not like I'm looking at it and I'm upset with it. I don't know what it is, but there is just something that every time I look at it and want to pick this particular building up and work on it, my brain is like, maybe we should go do something else. And let's be serious, I got even less done on this one. The idea behind this one was going to be that it was like, you know, block work down under there. This was gonna all be stucco work there. I didn't even know that I figured out what I was gonna do on these sides. I did get this neat little chimney done. Again, I made it to the cornerstones on this one. I did get that done, but I'm trying to come up with comparisons of what I'm thinking a building like this has, or a component to a building like this that makes it go into the I'm never going to work on it again graveyard. And I certainly did not intend for this video to be a graveyard of unfinished projects past, but this is kind of what it's becoming. Even talking about this reminded me of this monstrosity, my attempt at building Trollskull Manor from Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And like, this was an example of something that I started building it very early on in my crafting, and I kind of outgrew it, and the skill that I had as a crafter got better than this because the project was so big and it took me so long to get it done that I ended up bailing on it because it didn't seem good enough anymore, which is just, take this as a word of warning, that's just absolute nonsense. Don't feel that way about your builds. Some things are going to be better than others, and that goes on forever. But this has been sitting for probably 4 or 5 years in this cupboard, and I can't think of a time that I will ever want to pull this out and work on it again. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I need to end up doing something where I just get this finished. I don't know. And again, this video, I'm not 100% sure where it's going. It's just kind of back to the point of it. These buildings and we have beef. Why is this never going to get finished? I don't know. Here's another good example. I mean, see this ship? So that's something that I made pretty early on. Let me swing around here. That is another ship. I don't know why I didn't finish it. The example is that my crafting, this actually got made very similarly to Trollskull Manor, in the sense that by the time I finished this, my skill was way better. So I wasn't happy with this. But then I switched to that one and I started to make improvements, but then I lost the zeal for wanting to make a ship, so I moved on. So as a little pat on the back, go get 'em Tiger, self-confidence boost, I guess, I'm gonna end this video over top of these boards. For those who are new to the channel, you might not have seen, but I made these semi-modular city boards, and I glued over 14,000 individual little teeny tiny bricks down on top of it, and that doesn't even include the ones that I carved. 14,000 little teeny tiny foam bricks, so it's not a finishing issue. I just wish that I could tap into my own psyche and figure out why this little jerk right here just is dragging his feet, and my brain will not just commit to finishing it and getting it done. Because once it's done, I will love it and it will feel awesome on my table. If you've got any suggestions or tips or words of encouragement or anything like that, throw them into the comments below. Obviously, if you're going through a similar situation with your projects, know that you are not alone, and this is something that all crafters go through. It doesn't matter how many YouTube channels we have or pre-existing projects on the wall, we all go through it. And I think YouTube can look very superficial in the sense that it seems like all we do is be productive, when that's just what the camera tricks you into thinking. Sometimes you have little projects like this that should be easy and quick to knock out, and they're just the literal worst. So with that said, if you enjoyed this video or this style of content, definitely leave me a like down below. I talked about commenting. If you share this video with a friend that you think would enjoy it, that's actually the #1 way that you can help out the channel. But other than that, if you want to support the channel monetarily, we have links to our merch stores, as well as all of the links to the Nimble Kickstarter. I can't say thank you to them enough. Give them some love, and definitely check their links down in the description below as well. The brain has officially stopped working. That's where the end of the video is. Thank you so much for watching, and until next week, I'll be seeing you.